Evening. How y'all doing? Rena. Also, definitely productive. Uh, New tab. Oh, put the if minus there. That to run. All right. Well, tonight I think we're going to try to get going a little bit on building some sort of application with React Router. That's the rough plan. We'll see how much we get. Also, I feel like I should probably set up some sort of testing framework. Should probably set up like Beat or Playwright. Well, honestly, since this is kind of a learning project, honestly, I think we'll just start with go ahead and get, check out, branch. What are we going to try to do tonight? We're going to try to feature, add new book. That's what we're going to try to do. Add ourselves new book. Never used React Router before, so, or at least I've never used React Router v7. This is the first for me. Bear with me as I stumble through here. The first thing I need to do is I just need to do some cleanup. But I guess we don't really have to do the cleanup, do we? Worry about that. We can remove it as we go. Let's look at our app as it stands. Okay, so we need to get rid of all this. Actually, what if we just maybe we just start with adding. Excuse me. We just start with adding an add books route. How about that? Hello, Killer Queen. I think it's the first time I've seen your name in my chat. So, hello. How are you? For stopping in. All right. So what do we do? I read the React Router docs a day ago. Yeah, a day ago, and now I feel like I've forgotten everything. So I guess I want to start with defining the book routes. I think is what I want to start with. Let's go back to React Router docs. Go to routes. Framework. framework. There we go. So this is the way we want to do it. I think what we want to do, I want to have a route that's like products, add. That's what I'm looking for. Let's just start with the simplest thing. So we'll say route, products, add that, import that. And this is not happy because we need to give it a module, right? Give it a module file. So our module file is going to be routes products / add tsx. Does that sound good? Products add that. Okay, so then the way the route modules work is the default export is the content that's going to be rendered. If I remember the docs right. So if I do export default add book, export default function. I promise I've written React before. Add this. Then if I go to my app, solved ID, app routes products at in file exists. It should now. Right? Good now. Products add tsx. What have I done wrong? First route and I've already screwed it up. SX. Wonder if I have to restart. Do you think I have to restart the dev server? Oh, that sucks. I have to restart it whenever I add the route. Kind of painful. So products. Oh, look at us. Look at us. We're just I'm a React router dev now. All right, so we want to be able to, I think for our books, we want to have a title and probably an author to start with, right? Yeah. Oh, we also need some way to persist this. And I'm planning in order to use, I'm gonna plan on using an ORM that I've never used before. It's called Sequelize. Let's try to use. I've never used this before, but it looked kind of cool, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Sequelize. Okay. Then I guess I'll define this probably like just in like maybe a, what do we want to call this, data? Or should we be like real fancy and call it like persistence? Maybe just DB. Yeah, I don't know. I've never used this before, so I'm just gonna call this persistence. I'm gonna be fancy. Call it persistence. I see you said hi, bro, but I cannot read your username. I apologize. So, hello, I see you. I just can't. I would call you by your name if I could read your name. And that's not a you problem, that's a me problem, by the way. Also, I need to update my what is bro doing command. Building all app act router better 7 app is called app is going to be called bookkeeper. Track books I've read. Just type bro. Banco, is that Unity engine? This is not Unity. This is React. This is React router is what we're at the moment. I've never worked with Unity. I do write C#, but I don't often. Hello, Talha. I don't often, or I'm not really into game development. Not that I don't like game development. I just haven't done much of it. All right, I gotta update this command before someone types it and it's wrong. Somebody already typed it. Ari Haunt. I'm sorry. I'm updating it right now. It should say. I'm I'm building a small app with a React router. Basically, a way to keep track of all the books you have read, are reading. There we go. Okay, that command should be updated now. Sorry about that, Senko. Sorry about that, Ariant. Jomo, first time seeing PowerShell being used in the wild. Nice. Yeah, PowerShell's pretty great. Yeah, as a terminal, it's if you're on Windows, why not? I mean, it'll work on Linux too. Linux and Mac. PowerShell's cross-platform now. Don't go too late. Yeah. I probably should have updated Nightbot first and then send that message. This should be up to date now. Brother, please help me. I'm a student from Iran in debt and my mother is sick. I can't work because of exam. Need $200 urgently. I don't speak English well. Please like or message me. And I don't know your language. If you want to help me, please show a like with your hand. Not show a dislike, please. I really need help. I don't know what your name is because I can't speak your language that your username's written in. I apologize. If everything you said in your message is true, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm not going to give $200 to a stranger on the internet. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I feel for you. I hope things improve for you, but I'm just not going to give money away like that. Spanko. Oh wow, that's a cool idea. Yeah, it's just we basically just wanted to build like a small CRUD app that would kind of get me. Well, I wanted to build a small CRUD app that would help me just further commit the things I learned about React Router v7 to my mind. That's why we're doing it. Hello, Azim. What's up, man? How are you? Good to see you again. How's work? Right? I think you started your new job where you moved over from the data sciencey side. I think you're moving more towards the software development side. So how's that going? Senko, I'm not going to give 200 Zimbabwe dollars either. I'm not going to give anybody any money on the internet. Don't you guys pay attention in your cybersecurity training? All right, let's see how I get this set up. Let's see. Define your models. and persistent query. All right, let's get started. The connected database, that's super easy. I'm just going to use SQLite, that's fine. Don't need to test it. Logging. Model based. So I guess you basically define your models and then just export them. Is that how it works? Yeah. It looks like that's how it works, basically. I'm guessing that the sequelize thing should be a singleton. Let's just try to. I'm gonna say db.ts, and here we will say copy. Never used SQLize before either. This is a night of all new technologies for me. Or can we turn this into import from? And what, we just export this out? Export. I'm gonna call this, I'm just gonna go db. Yeah. We don't need data types. We can define that in a separate file. Theme, it's my birthday, so no work today, sir. Oh, awesome, man. Happy birthday, dude. How old are you? Are you an old man now? Banco, just convert it to USD. See its value. Didn't get the joke. Oh. So 200, I'm guessing 200 Zimbabwe dollars is not a lot of dollars. Huh? All right, then we're going to define, I guess, a book.ts. Books.ts. Book.ts. All right, now how do we define our... I'm guessing this is the table name, right? Both ways to find the smaller shown below. After being defined, we can access our model with sequelize.models.user. I kind of like this, const user, and then using that. This reminds me a lot of Mongoose. I'm going to do that. Import. And we're going to say dot define. What does this define a model representing a table in the DB. Table columns are defined by the hash that is given as the second argument. The attribute of the hash represents a column. Okay. But I think I just want to do and then the data types is how I define types of the columns. So I'm going to have title. going to be data types dot author types dot string. Again, I don't know if I'm doing any of this right because this is the first time I've ever used this ORM. So I'm just kind of exploring it at the moment. I think though for Sequelize, I want to use an actual file on disk. So how do I do that? Dialect CLI, okay. That select light storage. I'm just gonna put it in the same folder, so I'm just gonna put it here at development.db. That. Maybe I should name it like book or dev. All right. So then theoretically, right? So theoretically, since this is going to happen on the server, theoretically we can have a form, right? And we can have an action, and in that action we can insert it into our database. So let's export action like that. Now obviously we need a form, right? So let's create a form. Div. This is all going to be very ugly. I'm not going to worry too much about styling or anything like that, but I'm just going to try to build like the base functionality and then we can pretty it up as we go. Theme 23 now? Dude, congrats, man. You're an old guy. 23 years old. 23 is when I had my first kid. 23 years old was when my first son was born. A good age, man. Good age. All right, form. And then the action. I have to go to the docs. Action. Actions are called declaratively through form and imperatively use submit. Oh, so I have to actually use the form component from React Router this to work. Missed that. Missed it. Okay. And I guess this is where I need to say action equals. Did I call? I think I wrote. Did I write products? I think I wrote products, didn't I? Pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. This should be books. Then in my routes. You know, I wonder, do you think I don't know. Do you think I should put the model in the routes? No, that's dumb. I'm just going to keep all the DB stuff in a separate folder for now. This should be books, add okay, and then we need, let's see, we're gonna need some text inputs. We need text input for title, text input for author. So we'll just put together a little form group here. Put together a couple little, and then we need a button. And oops, make its type submit. Now here we'll have a label. The label will be title. Have an input of type text. This is going to be author. That's also type text. And then of course we're going to want to do, we're going to want to have like an ID, not an ID. We're going to want to ID equals author, name, author, and we're going to want for attribute here. And again, the for attribute's important. If you're not used to, if you haven't built a lot of forms, oh no, this should be something different in React, right? Yeah, this should be HTML, HTML4. So basically what the HTML4 or the plain for attribute does is just connects your label to whatever input it's supposed to be associated with. And then whenever a user clicks on a label, that means it will automatically focus the associated input. So it's just good for accessibility. Azim, whoa, at 23 you had your first son? I did, yeah. I had my first son at 23 and my second son at 25. They're about almost 2 years apart. A little less than 2 years apart. Duck D's. Hey, what's up, Duck D's? How are you, man? Craven, hey, send prayers, please. I was doing some stuff at last weekend. Oh my god, Craven, dude. Get the fuck out of the chat, Craven. I should have known by like your first name what was coming in that message. Just get the fuck out of here, man. I'll never understand why people like to spend their time on YouTube leaving comments like that. Such a waste of your time, you know? Alright, HTML4. This will also be title. Title, obviously, Steven. Let's go back to our page here. All right, so we got author, we got title. Although I hate, like, you can't even, I don't know why are the stylings like that. You can't even tell they're there. We'll fix that. But we have title now, and again, like, remember, it's good to connect title to input, so right, or label to input. So now if I click title, I automatically focus on it. All right, so then theoretically what should happen is if I typed in test, and I click add, it should post. I tried to do something. Books, add data. There's all this framework stuff that's obviously happening under the hood. Look, why are we attaching .data to that? Also, Wonder why that's the response. That's interesting. Who knows why React Router is doing all this stuff under the hood. All right, so we should be able to console log. I forget how we get access to our form data. There should be a way to get our form data in that action. Framework. Not the so there's our loader. We want a server action. So this is our request. So we pass a request object or an object with a request property. And then we should be able to get form data, and then we should be able to get our authors and titles. Okay, so let's just log out what we're getting here. Let's say this is request. Oh, I probably have to type this, don't I? What's the type? Route.action args. Route.action. Say const form data request.form data. Then we say console.log. All right, so this should all log. When this logs, though, right, this should log on the server. This should log here in Vite. Shouldn't log in the console because we're using a server action. So we have a promise of pending. So I have to await that. Yep. This needs to be an asynchronous function. Also, forgive me if one of you guys out there are like React Router Pro, please. There we go. We got title, we got author. So we should at this point, basically at this point, what we should be able to do. I know this is kind of crazy, but we should be able to say const title equals form data dot get title const author form data dot get author. We should be able to import that user model that we created in Sequelize. We should be able to say import user from. Gotta go up further. Go way up to. Well, actually, can I use at? I think I can use it. Thought I could. Persistence. Book. Theoretically, we should be able to say user dot create. Oh, not user. Book. Book dot create. Oh wow, they have a bolt create. Nice. That's really nice. Create. And this promise. How do we have to await this? We have to await this. Synchronize. What? Why do I have to synchronize? Models. When you define a table, you're telling Sequelize a few things about its table in the database. However, if the table actually doesn't even exist in it, what if it exists but has different columns? Where model synchronization comes. Model can be synchronized with the database by calling blank and model.sync an asynchronous function that returns a promise. With this call, SQLize will automatically perform a SQL query to the database. Okay. Guess that makes sense, right? There's got to be some sort of migrations involved here. So I guess I should probably call db.sync on app startup. Yes. Kind of what I'm picking up. But where would I call this? I honestly don't know where I would call this. I think this is getting run on the server, right? This app, this is a server. This is running server side, so I think I could safely call it here. Yeah, I think I could. Haha, logging form data. Yeah, here we go. Tyler, how can you code in the terminal? It's pretty good. I'm using NeoVim is the editor of choice that I'm using, Tyler. But it's a pretty good experience if you get NeoVim like configured properly. You can get it to a point where it's a pretty good alternative to VS Code. Obviously, VS Code has all the bells and the whistles and works kind of out of the box with a lot of things, but Ecophia. Of course, you have to wait. All DB operations are asynchronous. Call it before create. Yeah, I don't think I want to call sync though multiple times in my like every time I add a book. I don't think I want to sync the database. I think I want to sync the database once at app startup. So I'm going to try to do that here. Or maybe I could just, I don't know where to call this though. It doesn't make sense to call it in the app. Because when this actually gets built, it gets split up into it gets split up into a client bundle and a server bundle. So maybe the internet has React router. Where do you initialize base? Hello, Jaffa Jarvis. Hey all. You don't do DB sync in app function. Jaffa, are you familiar with React router? You know how to work with databases in the new React router v7, the framework mode? So when I do npm run build, Jaffa, you know? So when I do npm run build, this builds into two different bundles. You get your server and you get your client. And so basically I want to do db sync in this index.js file. So I think I need to put the db sync as part of my root tsx file. What I think. Let me just try this. db.sync. Then if I run npm run build again, okay, this had a build. Top level weight is not available in the configured target environment. Alpha, create a new file as db.server.ts. When you do this, db function not go to client any. Oh, okay, cool. Did not know you could do that. So if I do, but how do I know it's okay? So that's fine, but how do I know it's going to be called? How do I know that file is going to be called on application startup? Right? Because I want to sync this when the app starts up. So how do I do that? How do I know that? Right? Because I definitely can create a new db.server.ts file, right? But then how do I make the sync call? This looks all kinds of wrong. No, thank you, Gemini. You can export a function, call it in loader. Yeah, but that's gonna isn't the root gonna get executed every time you load the app? Right? Every time the index or the root of the app gets loaded, I don't want to call db.sync. Hello, Alan Weldon. How are you? You can do singleton pattern. Yeah, but that seems like more work than what's necessary, right? There should be some way to just, when I do npm run start or npm run dev. Yeah, and I don't want the loader. I don't want the db.sync call to run on every execution of a loader function. I just want it to run once on application startup. So how would I do that in React Router v7 framework mode? That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to do that, Hafa. Yeah, I think I'm saying your name right. Yafa? Hafa? Sorry if I messed up your names. I apologize. I do try to do my best to say the names correctly. React, React Router, do something on start. There's got to be something in their docs about this, right? Initialize database. There's server rendering with node Postgres. Maybe I can look at this template. This will tell me something about the right pattern to use. This looks very complicated. Or not complicated, but it looks like they actually created a separate server. Okay, well, I guess this wasn't this is not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. to add a database. Do I have a server folder? I don't have a server. Yeah, I have 3 years of remix experience. Okay, have fun exploring. I appreciate it, man. I mean, I'm welcome to hear what your guys' suggestions are. It's just I feel like executing a database sync call, a database wide sync call in a root loader every time someone loads the page. I do not want. You have to keep track of sync state and cancel the call. Really? That seems yucky. But if that's the way you do it, I guess that's the way you do it. Excuse me. I felt a sneeze coming on there. Or maybe you just do the sync as part of your build, part of your deployment process. And don't try to do it programmatically in the app on startup. I guess that's one thing I could do. Yeah. Yeah, I could see you doing that. But again, it's like you're having to do that on every time someone loads the page. Is that really necessary? That seems just I think I'm gonna do it outside the app itself. I think I'll just migrate or sync my DB in some other way. Like, could I just have like I don't know. Could I just have like a sync.ts like this and import DB from just do await sync dot sync. I know that seems silly to do that, but and then just add a little node. What is it? App slash distance sync. Which probably doesn't work in all cases because not all versions of Node everywhere do that. Find module. Oh. Yeah, and then I'm gonna have all kinds of node issues. I'm gonna hack around them though for now. I'm just gonna make it a separate thing that I do. This is just for the local dev. I want the sync thing, but I don't want. Geeko sync.ts will be. Oh, that's a good point. So that it probably needs to live outside. That's a good point. I don't want that bundled. Could I just ignore that? Is there some way I can tell React Router Vite to not include it? Sure, there's a way, right? What's up, xdev non? That's a good point. Okay, so I don't want to do. So this is a bad approach because that's gonna, like you said, it's gonna get bundled. So I don't want that to get bundled. Welcome to React Router v7. Yeah, I think I'm just. This is the first time I built anything with React Router v7 in this framework mode. So thinking through these things, these common things of like, okay, you have a database, you some way to run your migrations against that database. You probably want to do that some sort of deterministic way before you start your application, whether in production or in local dev. And yeah, I understand what you're saying, Geeko about just having a hook and checking it every single time someone loads the page and only syncing it once. But I don't feel like I want to do that. So I'll come up with another way. But I'm not gonna get too hung up on that. I need to run sync, right? So I can test this route. Okay, so this would be an await, pass in what I want to. I just pass in an object, huh? Yeah. Pass in title, author. Then will this? I wonder if Sequelize automatically creates an ID field. ID. Do I have to declare that? I think it has. I think they have support for timestamps, which is kind of nice. Timestamp. By default, Sequelize automatically adds the fields created at, updated at to every model. Use data. Okay. So you get timestamps for free. But do you get IDs for free? Wonder. Also, did it create the it did when I ran sync, it did not create database. Oh yes, it did. But it created it in the wrong place. I'm gonna move this to app. Oh, it created it from because of where I ran the script. I think. What's the better way? This path. I guess the better way is to probably say, oh, I guess this is, you're also telling me this is going to get bundled to the client too, huh? This persistence folder. This is where I need to add, I guess I need to add server, right? .ts here. Prevent it doing that. I guess I can rename this sync. Yeah, already I'm kind of feeling the pain of dealing with, is this code running on the server or this code running on the client? Manique, which editor? This is NeoVim, what I'm using Manique at the moment. Xdev non. Did you try C snakes already? You can run Python in .NET and C#. I haven't tried it. I did see it though. I have seen it. C snakes, right? Basically allows for interop between .NET to Python. Embed Python code and libraries into your C#.NET solution. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I don't know what I would use it for. I think that's probably need to come up for some reason I'd actually need it. But one of these days it might come in handy. Sophia, yeah. Yeah. Is this on the server or is this on the client? That's what made me run away from Next.js. Vikram. Hello, Vikram. Do you use the Docker containers? I do use Docker containers. Yep. Actually, a lot of my applications run in almost all of my publicly deployed projects are in Docker containers running on VPSs. Sophia. Yeah, so that's probably my problem at the moment. It's just I haven't used React Router 7 enough for it to feel familiar. So I'm sure I'll get used to it. Probably a skill issue at this point. Hello, Tafik. How are you? All right, so this is probably just say process.cwd. App. It makes me think I maybe just don't have all my code in the right place. Right? So maybe this stuff shouldn't live. Maybe this code shouldn't live within the app module. Maybe it should live outside of it. No. All right, let's see what happens. Failed to load URL DB. Oh, yeah. All right, what happens? See what happens. Books, add, test, add. Oh, no. SQLite error. No such table books. Okay. So is this where I need to create? I thought I ran sync. Let's see. Synchronize, automatically sync all models. Example, force true. Hmm. This is very fascinating. I need to read more about this Sequelize library and how they, there you go, migration. This will create the following folders: config, models, migration, seeders. Okay, maybe there's a more comprehensive way than I need to set this up. But for my little app, you know, I'm just trying to get something up and working. This seems like this should be a separate process that lives outside of the app initialization, right? But it does seem like I should probably have the CLI, and I should probably use the CLI to create all these different folder structures. In any event, let's just do the let's just do the quick and dirty thing, and let's do await book dot sync. Something happened. Didn't error that time. There we go. Okay, it worked. So we got ID, we got title, author, updated date, created by date. Wonderful. Um, and then what we should probably do is we should probably redirect, I guess, right? The action we should redirect to like the actual book page. Tafik, do you have any opinions about JavaScript for backend? I think JavaScript for backend's fine, man. Yeah. If I was gonna build a backend in JavaScript, I would probably use Hano, Hano.dev. If you're familiar with, I mean, granted, Express, right? Express is like everywhere, and that's kind of like the old standby when it comes to building backends with, or at least web backends for JavaScript. But I think Hano is a much better experience, in my opinion. I think the um, the async writing asynchronous code with Hano is a little bit easier than it is in Express. And Hano is built around web standards. So I think if I was to do something greenfield to Feek, I would probably start with Hano. Here's the docs, or here's the website if you're not familiar with it. Obviously, Express is still a good option. Ashley, is Hano easy to search for troubleshooting? Popular enough? It's definitely probably not as pervasive as Express. I mean, obviously, Express has so many years, right? That's been out there in the wild. I do think though you could find troubleshooting information. Hondo's docs are very very good. Um, they're they have very good documentation. I think you'd be okay. Xdev non. If you are in the position of having to create an app, do you use Swift for iOS and Kotlin for Android, or would you go the React Native route? If I had to create a mobile app like that, I'd probably do React Native or maybe .NET MAUI. I don't know Swift and I don't know Kotlin. So I would need to probably leverage, like if it if it was a project that had nothing to do with learning, I would probably need to leverage my existing knowledge, right? So either do React Native or I think .NET MAUI is like the cross-platform C# way of doing mobile apps. I think it used to be called Xamarin at one point. But that's probably what I would do. Okay, so how do I do this in... So here we should say redirect to book page thing ID. But I don't know how to redirect yet, so let's go figure that out real quick. Did I get rid of all the documentation I had pulled up? Interesting. So from here, he's just returning the project in this. Or why? Oh, because you can get the action data. Okay. So this would be like if you needed to edit a project, right? Yeah. This is more that's what this would be more for. Redirect from action. What I want to do. Act router. Direct from act. Oh, you just literally import a redirect function, I guess, huh? Navigate. The inside of route loaders and actions, you can return a redirect to another URL. Yeah, I want to do exactly this. Exactly that. I will say, oh, you don't have a. But how do I access the? How do I access the underlying? I want to get the ID. So how do I do that? I will. What I was gonna say is, this alone, like this experience, is compelling to me. Right? Like this is all. This is the what I need to have a form, display it, post the data, save it to the database. This is compelling. Abhishke Kumar, what are we making? So I decided that I would make a little book tracker app in order to better learn React Router v7. I haven't explored React in like a year. Haven't explored React Router in probably a year and a half. And since that time, I know there's been a lot of changes. Right? They basically the team that was building Remix took what was gonna be Remix version 3 and basically put that into what is React Router version 7. So, and there's 3 different modes. There's like data mode, render mode, and declarative mode, I think is the 3 modes. And then now the Remix team is taking off in a whole different direction for V3. Like they're even, I think they just announced the other day that they're for Remix version 3, they're dropping React altogether. They're not even gonna use React. kind of wild. But yeah, that's what we're building. We're just building to learn at the moment. I'm also using a new ORM that I haven't ever used before. That's called Sequelize. So I'm also kind of learning about this ORM at the same time. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, this is kind of interesting because they're just acting like you should be able to just say user.username or gain.id, but I'm not getting that that autocomplete or that inference. Did I do something wrong here? I can already see like it's not inferring that it's of type book. I'm wondering if I did something wrong with the way I defined this. But maybe I don't get type inference if I use the define. Maybe I don't get type inference there. But that's kind of silly. Why would they show that in their getting started docs? Sequelize. No type inference for ID. Oh, this is pretty old doc. Typing your model. Model methods. Oh. I guess I have to do this a little bit differently, huh? Kind of sucks. Ashton, have you tried Cursor with Claude 4 yet? Been messing with it over the past couple days. It's pretty wild how good it is. The vibe code future is scary. I have not tried Cursor at all. The only agentic editor I've tried, or I guess agent, is Copilot Agent Mode in VS Code, which it's been okay. I mean, I haven't been super impressed with it. Like it's super good for documentation. It's been great at adding like JS doc and XML comments. Um, But yeah, like I tried to turn it loose on a simple task of adding cancellation tokens to a bunch of methods in C Sharp, and it just got stuck in a loop of adding and removing the cancellation tokens. Uh, yeah, I don't know. The couple times I've tried quote unquote vibe coding, I haven't really enjoyed it. This whole idea of sitting down and just prompting an LLM to write code for me. I think if somebody told me that was the only way I could ever code, I'd probably find a different thing to do. Because for me, I enjoy writing the code. I enjoy problem solving. Not as rewarding being a prompt engineer, in my opinion. Andalance, hey bud, good night. Hello, Andalance. Have you been here a while? And you're leaving, or are you just getting here? Oh, okay. Well, how are you doing, Andalance? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. I love it. I love this in documentation where they basically say they give you an example, then they say, "We don't recommend doing this. Read on for the new way of declaring model typings." all of a sudden now I'm not. All of a sudden now I'm not liking this ORM. You can also hold on. You can also define modules in a functional way. Okay, I kind of like this. You can also set multiple attributes optional at once. Add with a functional approach. Defining a module looks like this. All right, let's take this approach, huh? To our what would this look like? What would this look like for our book here? So our book would have type note attribute. Then it's going to have or not note attributes, book attributes. Then it's going to have type book creation attributes. So these are the things that are optional during creation, right? Like ID, because ID is going to be generated by the database itself. ID title. Okay. So number, title, string, author is going to be a string. Then for this, we have to say optional. That comes from equalize. book attributes, say ID, optional. Then we're supposed to type the thing where this we model defined asset book attributes. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this ORM now all of a sudden, but just gonna go along with it. Yeah. I don't know if I need to. Oh, that's how you can set max values. That's good to know. Didn't know you can do that. I wonder if I need to define this. I think ID just gets automatically. A lot of learning today. A lot of learning today. Okay, then in our add method, does that give us inference? It should be title, author. Now it's going to give me, okay, so now I'm getting type inference. So this is where I should probably have some server-side validation, right? That says if title just throw new. I don't even know what you're supposed to do in an action when something goes wrong. Throw an error, I guess. Form data entry value. Form data entry value. So it can represent a file, a string, or a file object. Type of title does not equal string. That narrow our type there. There, that note narrows our type. And if type of author also throw an error. There's also some probably other validation we need to do there. There's probably validation we should. This should be. We should probably add validation here on the inputs to say they're required. That way they can't post the form anyways. The client. I wonder if you're supposed to throw an error from the action if something goes wrong. what to return from actions in React Router form failed. Oh, so you return a response object? Okay, interesting. And I guess that makes sense because like they're posting to an endpoint, right? Um, so maybe you could then do something like return work. I have no idea what the what the right thing to do is there. Let's see. We're still not getting though. Still not getting in my type inference. Oh boy, this is where I start to get a little frustrated. Tired of. Stop. You don't need Bookkeeper, and you will never use it. I probably will never use it, but it will definitely help me learn React Router. Indolence. Oh yeah, Odessa. Sorry, Indolence. I forgot. That's what you asked me to call you, Odessa. What are you guys talking about tonight? We're really just. I'm really just trying to build something with React Router, and in the process, talking to you guys. Ruthless. Do you think my professor will be able to tell I'm using ChatGPT in my Python course? Ruthless, I don't think you should really care if he can tell that you're using ChatGPT. I think you should care whether or not you learn Python. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with using ChatGPT. I don't think there's anything wrong with using AI to help you code. I think that's just a question you have to answer of like, can you actually write Python? Right? Or do you just know how to use ChatGPT to write Python? I think those are two different things. Um, I guess my aim for you would be let's learn how to write Python, then let's use ChatGPT to generate my Python, right? Because then I'll know if what ChatGPT generated is what I wanted or not. On Seth Alicante. I don't know what you said. I can't read that language. Also, why does this not have good syntax highlighting? I mean, I could always do that. Like, no, it really does have an ID. It does exist. has a number. Do you think this needs to be an interface? I don't know why that would matter. Maybe it does need to be an interface. That's what their docs have it as. Docs define an interface and then type. Try that. Oh. This is so annoying. I'm just trying to get type inference on this stupid model. I'll just test something really quick. Okay, what happens if I do import size font size that? That doesn't make a difference. Okay. So it has nothing to do with type inference on this. This doesn't need to be an interface. Just doing something wrong, I guess. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing something wrong. What about const books dot await? Yeah, there's just nothing there. Like it's just not. It's not inferring that it's there. Maybe I need to define it in a different way. God, this is so ugly. Fly Fisher, a single period or comma is out of place. Coding is the true test of patience. That is very true. You will build patience for sure. All right, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try again a different approach here to declaring my model. See if I can get type inferencing to work. I'm gonna import a bunch of stuff here. Instead of user, this is gonna be book. You're gonna declare ID, that is creational optional. We're gonna declare title, which is a string, declare author, string. What do we need to do next? What we need to do next is say wait user.create. We not have to define that though on so I'm guessing we need to do something like this, right? User.init. Alright, of why write in JavaScript when you could use a real programming language instead? Oh man, that's quite a shot across the bow to call JavaScript not a real programming language, considering JavaScript kind of ate the world. But yeah, I know people have issues with JavaScript. I personally, if I'm gonna write JavaScript, I'm probably just gonna end up writing TypeScript. I feel like TypeScript's a better dev experience. But I like C# too. You know, I don't know. I don't try to take too many shots at people's programming language choices. You know, find the language you like and enjoy working in, and work in that. You know. Flyfisher, everything uses Java. I'm assuming you're meaning JavaScript on the front end. If you're a real programmer, you know this. The majority of people front end by. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why JavaScript's such a great first language to learn, right? Is because once you learn JavaScript, you can pretty much build or do anything you want, right? It runs on the server, runs on the client, you know. So from a web development perspective, it's kind of the only OP language because of the fact it's the native language of the client. I'm so frustrated that it's taking me so much of a pain to get type inference on an ID. Okay. Now what? All these? Now we try to go to add. Say, ah. I'll create it out. Need this needs optional. Need to be optional. Optional. Okay, let's see what happens now. That was such a pain to get that to work, but okay. Let's try to start this guy. What happened? Did not resolve PGH store? What is that? SQLite does not support integer with unsigned or zero fill. Plain integer will be used instead. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why it's talking about PGH store. See if we can this again. Test, add. It worked. Okay, so we got, you can see our ID right here. We got redirected to books, but obviously we don't have a books specific page. So that's good, I think. Probably need to figure out these errors at some point. Alright, if you're playing with C#, you should already know that with Blazor. I know how to write stuff in Blazor. Actually, my blog is built in Blazor. If you go to blog.stephenfreeborn.com, well, one sec, hold on. That won't work because that is hosted on a VPS in my home network. So I'm gonna have to open host file real quick. Enter a special entry .2.1.1. host.com. Now it should resolve. There we go. Yeah, so my blog is actually a Blazor app. Yeah, Blazor is wonderful. Again, though, it's like whenever you begin to write something in Blazor, you inevitably at some point reach for JavaScript. And then when you're in Blazor world, you have to do all these strange things with an injected IJS runtime, and then you have to have separate JavaScript files that your Blazor loads in, and then you execute the exported functions from your JavaScript modules. So like, I mean, Blazor's good. I'm not knocking Blazor, but like, at some point you probably are going to have to write JavaScript if you're building like a rich client-side app. So sometimes it just probably makes more sense to just start with a JavaScript front end. Fired up, looks good. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I took the inspiration from if you guys know who Dan Abramov is. He used to be on the React core team, I think at Meta or what was Facebook. I think now he works at Blue Sky, but he has a blog called Overreacted, and so you can kind of see I stole the design, a lot of the inspiration from it from him. I just really like the simplicity of the blog, and the style of it. So I kind of just recreated it in Blazor. Fly Fisher, I appreciate you trying to stick up for me, Fly Fisher. You got my back, huh? Yeah. Now, I mean, like I said, I try not to take sides in the language or the framework wars. I think you find the tech stack and the languages that you like and enjoy and that you're productive with, and do that. You know, obviously, if you want to have a job and the company you work for requires you to have a particular technology stack, then you're gonna have to do that. But if it's your own projects and your own stuff, like, do what you enjoy, right? What else is the point? Yes, my opinion. I guess that's how I look at it. All right, so I'm going to declare another route. However, I think there is a way I can nest these, right? So since these are all under the books route, I'm pretty sure there's a way I can nest them. I'm going to say for now books. And then routes. Books. Excuse me. Book.tsx. Oh, excuse me. Then in here, I should be able to. Well, I should be able to do two things here. I should be able to have a loader that queries my database for the ID. I should be able to say export function loader that. And I should be able, in here, I should be able to access the ID from my, right? I should be able to access the ID from the param. Loaders, like a load. Client loader, server loader, here we go, params. And then here I say loader data route.component props. Okay. This is params. I have to type this. Route.loader args and route.component props. Route.loader at args. That would be earn. Well, I should say const book equals await book. Nope. I'm gonna have a name clash. Book. I'll just call it book view for now. Fine. I'll have to figure out how you query. I don't know how to do that. Turn book from here. This is going to be loader data, I think is what they call this. This is route dot component props like this. How long have I been live for? Oh man, it's almost midnight. Okay, I'm gonna go for a little bit longer. I'm gonna get this to display on the page, and then I'll probably wrap it up. I don't feel like I've been particularly productive, but I am trying to learn two different things at the same time. I'm trying to figure out how to use this ORM at the same time as also trying to learn React router. So I think it's good enough. Hello, Oliver Groma. How are you? Tired of. It's not about client side. People keep duct taping JavaScript across the whole stack like it's some kind of universal hammer when we got cleaner, faster, saner tools for the job. I mean, I guess I see your point about like there may be better tools for better things, but I do think there is something to be said about why something like the MERN stack has become so popular, why JavaScript is so popular is because it's a friendly language. It's dynamically typed. It works on the server. It works on the client. So if you want to build a product or an application pretty rapidly, or you need to onboard a bunch of devs pretty rapidly, right? You're doing web development and you're building web applications. I can see why, right? JavaScript has had the popularity it's had. Okay, so this thing has its own query language here. So I mean, it's SQL, but it's, you know, got to pass your objects and whatnot. So let's see, attributes for select queries. I want where clauses. So this is basically what. Where ID param.id. What have I done wrong? The type for the loaded data prop is automatically generated. So do I have to generate the types? This doesn't look like it's registering that it has type. Ev. Pretty sure that's how you do dynamic. Right? That's how you do dynamic segment. Let's see, that's file convention router. I don't want file convention router. Route. Yeah, that's how you do it. Colon value. But I'm not getting inference. Or do I need to import that from a particular type? This automatically generated type stuff is types dot. Like that's the only. Oh, I need to say routes, books. Yeah, I need to say slash types slash book like that. Oh yeah, okay, that worked. Now I have this properly typed. Then in here we can say return h1 loader data dot. I guess I need that. And then I say I don't remember even how to do this in. All right, so let's try to go end to end with this thing, huh? Okay, so we're on our ad page. We add a new book. Get redirected. Like we have a body. H1, it's empty. It does not have an ID. So did we actually get a book? I don't know if we actually got a book. Oh, we did. So why is this not populated? By author? Hydration failed because the server rendered HTML didn't match the client. This can happen if SSR client components used. Huh. Well, I did something wrong. I can see it flash for a second. Yeah, some sort of hydration issue. Hello, Deborah. Yes, we are coding. We are coding React. So this JXX is probably what you're seeing on the screen. But definitely not Visual Basic or C++. Neither of those. Because I don't know how to write those. All right, so the question is, why am I getting a hydration error? I'm not sure why. Does this need to be React router 7 async? Oh, you need to do you need to do this in order for it to not have a hydration problem? Have to destructure? Hmm. I don't know why. I'll have to do some reading because I'm not 100% certain why that's happening. Remove H1. Yeah, but what don't I want to be able to return some markup? See you, fly fisher. Sorry to everyone for being bossy. I don't think you were bossy at all, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, though. Appreciate you. You have a good evening, man. You're probably not gonna miss much either, because I think I'm gonna be wrapping up my adventures for the evening pretty soon. Nah, it's still complaining. I don't know why this thing's complaining about PGH store. I'm not even using that. I don't know what this request. Okay, this seems like this is a common thing people encounter. Beat plugin DevTools JSON. I should try to fix that. What happened to my file tree? Oh no, I made NeoVim very angry. Remlu, is this Next.js? No, this is Remlu, this is React Router v7. So it's kind of like I'm using React Router v7 in framework mode, which is kind of like an alternative to Next.js. If you're familiar with Remix, basically Remix took what they were going to launch as version 3 of Remix and they put it into React Router version 7. And now Remix version 3 is going to be something completely different. If you're familiar with Remix, a lot of this code that I probably have on the screen will look semi-familiar, probably. To some extent. I've not written any Remix. I've never built an app with Remix. This is the first time I've built anything with React Router version 7. So I'm learning. This thing says I should do this import DevTools. Isn't Vite such a wonderful thing? It really, really is. I guess I just need to install that. Otherwise, that error is going to keep coming. See you, Flyfisher. And I appreciate you encouraging people to like and subscribe. That's very kind of you. Okay. So we're still getting the hydration error, but we fixed our sequelize related error. And the error we are getting is still a hydration error. So I don't understand. Why would a server-side rendered app invalid HTML tag nesting? Is that a thing? All right, let's just try this. Let's just do let's return a div. Maybe that's our problem. Nope. So this basically it lists off a number of reasons why this can occur. It says a server client branch if type of window does not equal defined, variable input such as date now or math.random, date formatting in a user's locale which doesn't match the server, external changing data without sending a snapshot of it, or invalid HTML tag nest. I'm at a loss for words, man. Honestly, I wish I had a solution to this, but I don't know why this is failing. Abdul, bro, a little info on this. You can type what bro is doing or what bro doing if you want to know like the exacts. But basically, I'm just trying to learn React Router v7, and so I'm in the process of building a small little CRUD application to explore what React Router version 7 has to offer. Tired of it. Renders, then drops an error. It's buggy junk slapped together with fragile abstractions, zero predictability, runtime roulette. Dang, tired of you really have a thing against JavaScript, man. Really? I'm sure this is not a React router problem. I'm sure this is a Stephen Freeborn skill issue at the moment. This comes from my lack of familiarity with React router. So I know I'm definitely in SSR mode. I looked at that earlier. I'm definitely in SSR mode. Um, An unknown component is an async client component. Only server component. This error is often caused by accident client module only written for the server. Okay, so So the thing that I think is a server component is being treated like a client component. So why is that? Is that because I added server to all this stuff? That like opt me into some sort of explicit thing? It definitely shouldn't be a client component. It should definitely be a server component. Data that's returned from the loader or the client loader. For some reason, it's getting treated like a client component. Hello, Boz. How are you? Good to see you. You're having yourself a decent night. It's midnight, so I probably need to throw in the towel here on my hydration air. Okay, so client data route. Okay, client. Do you think it's because I'm importing route from the wrong thing? Because client navigations call the loader through an automatic fetch from the browser to your server. Okay, so maybe that's the problem. I honestly don't. I honestly don't. Also, I have not written 2,366 lines. That is, I think that is my package lock file being updated. All right, well, it's midnight and I need to wrap up for the evening. I got work in the morning. But if you're new here and you ever want to hang out with us outside of stream, you can join our Discord here. I usually try to stream in the evenings now. I was streaming during the day, but then my kids got out of school and for the they're home for the summer at least. So I'll probably try to keep the streaming in the evenings. So if you're around and you see me live, obviously stop back in, say hi, hang out. Otherwise, I'll see you in a short or a video, something like that. Hey, Alana. Hey, thanks. Yeah, you have a good night too. See you later. Yeah, anybody else who's still here, I hope you guys have a good rest of your, I guess, what's left of your Monday or what's left of your Tuesday. I'll see you guys next time.